she's in the news, isn't she, Shabana Mahmood? I'm starting to think she wants to be the next Prime Minister, and it might come to her sooner than we imagine. Shabana Mahmood and the so-called hardline rules on legal migrants. And there's a lot going on here. Let's hear what she said yesterday.
To settle in this country forever is not a right, but a privilege, and it must be earned. The starting point for settlement will move from 5 years to 10. To ensure this is earned, new criteria will be added, which will act as a disqualifying bar for those who do not meet them. Firstly, the applicant must have a clean criminal record. Secondly, they must speak English to A-level standard. Thirdly, they must have made sustained national insurance contributions. And finally, they must have no debt in this country.
And so there's a lot. So you will wait for 10 years just if you're a person with so-called clean criminal record. I've never heard it described like that before. 15 to 20 if you've been claiming benefits. And if you arrived on a boat, up to 30 years. Is this too much, James?
Well, I guess what I'm seeing here is I'm seeing somebody who is talking tough, who is giving some really clear direction of travel, trying to demonstrate that they haven't completely lost control of our borders and various other things, without actually dealing with the true problem. And the true problem is not just about, having rules for those who haven't come here yet. It's actually dealing with the 5 million people who are here, have arrived in the last decade, who weren't born in this country, who desperately need to have access to language services to make sure that they can assimilate properly. And then, of course, they say, we're going to target...
He's dealing with it, because they're going to have to wait 10 years. Do you think they should have to wait? Because we got.
Well, they're not, because it's not that retrospective.
Oh, so I don't know about that.
There's a little bit of retrospection back to 2022, but beyond that, there isn't. And the thing is that we are talking about successive governments who kind of ignored the problem, started with Blair, carried on with Cameron, continue with all the others, that instead of using immigration as a really positive tool to help build our country and our economy, they've used immigration to either siphon away their economic problems or alternatively to show different things which have been going on elsewhere and to distract away from the real true problems.
Are these rules the right rules?
I think they're disgraceful rules, and they've pushed me from going a lifelong Labour supporter to thinking about going over to Green. And I think Shabana Mahmood...
Green?
Yeah, Green Party,
Hang on,
yes.
Why would you go to a party that
Because Labour are not labouring, they're basically reform policies. And I think Shabana Mahmood, her own parents are Pakistani immigrants, and they wouldn't even pass these tests. Can they speak A-level English? I need to know. Because my parents came to this country in the 60s, and my mum could barely string a sentence together by the time she passed away, and either could my father. They still contributed to this country. They still paid their taxes, and they worked hard.
So would they have had to wait 20 years, do you think?
And how would they integrate? If you know that actually I might be thrown out, I may not make the 20-year period, will you actually integrate? No, you will never feel at home. I think these policies she's put in place are an absolute disgrace.
Well, there we are, James.
Hang your head in shame.
Yeah, well, there we are.
I think...
And I don't know why they use brown women. You've got Priti Patel, Suella Braverman. She's outdoing Priti Patel and Suella Braverman.
Well, listen, we had this discussion. Tell me this. We had this conversation the other day, and I wanted to ask you about it. Why is it that you've given 3 examples, Priti Patel, Suella Braverman and Shabana Mahmood, seem to be on their right of their parties, even though they are members of ethnic minorities? So what is it that makes them more right-wing? Can you tell me? Well, do they have something to prove?
I think that it's proximity to whiteness and power, and I think they feel that they've got to, they get into power and they think that this is what we've got to push, and it's a disgrace.
But they're more right-wing than their white equivalents. That's the strange thing.
But I don't know why they're pushing it. Some kind of, I don't know, they haven't processed their racism. Because she agrees.
James, what do you think of that?
They haven't processed racism.
They haven't processed their racism.
Take a breath now.
She used the fact that she gets called... That was her reasoning, the whole country is divided, and I'm going to divide the country.
What do you think?
Yes, you can.
Thank you, sir.
You can. You're in.
I think that there are a couple of things going on here. That first of all, I think if you've got a lived experience, and what you're trying to do is you're trying to make things better for those around you, then you really will try and make sure that, first of all, people cannot use excuses against you, and secondly, they can see, or she can see, what has gone wrong. But the problem is that they're dealing with symptom and not cause. And they're also, when you talk about your parents, one of the sorrows I have is when there are people who come to this country, they haven't been given the tools to learn the language. Do I expect them to learn the skills as well as somebody who goes through the schooling system? No, sure, no. But do I expect them to be able to get involved in society and to be integrated? You do that through language and culture. And we're not spending enough time doing that. And I think that's what they're doing. But there's one more important thing.
But you didn't answer
One more important thing.
Okay.
They are saying here that they are going to prioritise high earners and skilled NHS workers, both of which this government have done pretty much everything they can to get rid of them. And now they're realising the 10,000 people who left last year, the 16,000 who are going to leave this year, with significant funds, they've got a hole in their accounts, and they've realised that their stupidity and idiocy with dealing with these policies and their predecessors is causing them and this country a problem.
Right. If I ever say to myself or to others, if this country's so rubbish, as we keep being told it is, why does everyone want to come to live here?
Not everybody does want to come here.
They pretty much do.
No, the league table was put out, and in Europe, we are still...
You could have fooled me. The answer I get is because we're a soft touch.
No, well, I think because you're using a one-size-fits-all, which answers no.
I'm not.
answers.
I'm asking a question. Okay.
Relatively speaking, compared to other countries, we are a great option. But the thing is, in order to have a superb and successful society, you need to be attractive to